Wake up, Juju. Time to go to work.
All right, can we talk about
Wake up, I get it, Wake up, I get it, I go. With everyone saying I'm up next. It's not my fault that the vocals are gold. They're making the haters so upset. My life is a movie, the way that I roll. They saying I'm goofy, but baby, you know I'm making everybody obsessed. Cause we the best, how we get wrecked, and I know we gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Juju Green, aka Straw Hat Goofy, your movie guy, here with another special, spooky, goofy episode of Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. We are sitting here with a very special guest today, Kimberly J Brown from, you guys know it, Halloweentown. I will also call out things like Quint, and I will also call out Bringing Down the House.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? What y'all know about that Bringing Down the House, baby? Like, we gonna get into that too, because
please. Yeah.
nobody talks about it like how I talk about it. Like, who wanted with lean? Who wanted with lean? Like, who wanted with lean? I'm just saying. We also have a special co-host with us today, Gabby Whiting. Everybody say hi to Gabby.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi. Oh my gosh, it's truly an honor. Like, I don't.
So sweet.
Halloweentown. My birthday's on Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Spooky baby. I love
Yes,
it. I
yes.
love it.
Yeah. So you have quite literally been my entire childhood, but also I want to say adulthood as well, because in high school and late teen and presently, there's never not been a time where I'm like, Halloween is cool. Halloween has always been cool.
Yeah, it's always been cool. Like, listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. Christmas is my favorite time of year.
Okay.
But
It's mine too.
okay.
It's
Give
mine
me some,
too.
give me some,
Yeah.
give me some,
Yeah.
give me some,
Oh yeah.
give me some.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we
We
got-
have
we
to.
got-
I mean, come on.
I mean, we have
Yeah,
to.
please.
But
Yeah.
like Halloween is still like special, especially since like
Yes.
now like I have a kid, like she's 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it's there's a little bit more of a like specialness that comes with Halloween, right? You get
Absolutely.
dressed up, you
Yes.
go trick or treating. Like sometimes I feel bad, but kind of not when my friends say, "So what are you doing for Halloween?" I'm like, "What do you think?" I'm going trick or treating, baby.
But that's the best thing, to like relive it through kids' eyes. Like, I
Exactly.
don't have any kids, but my plans on Halloween are to take my little 8-year-old bestie trick or treating.
Yeah, see?
Because that's
Oh, yeah, see,
it's the
you're
best
cool
way to
auntie,
spend
ain't
it.
you?
Oh, heck
You cool
yeah.
auntie. But that's the thing too, is like I try like months in advance, like, being like, "Hey, little one, what do you want to be for Halloween?" And to see her little brain like work out like what she wants to do, because she knows I have cosplayer friends as well, so like in a way she wants to impress them.
Oh my god.
Right? She
wow,
really wants
yeah.
to be like, I want to get whatever her auntie Jasmine like thinks would be cool.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
Oh, she probably has a lot of cool. Yeah.
Oh, she's made her a couple of Halloween costumes over the years. She was Chopper a couple years ago from One Piece. And it was the cutest little Chopper that you ever did see. This year, she's Pomni from the Amazing Digital Circus. I don't know if we know what this is.
No.
Don't. I haven't heard of that
That
one.
sounds very Gen Alpha.
It definitely is. It definitely is. It's so niche. Like, only the people who are already like fans of it like know it. And then
Okay.
children. Like, you go to any elementary school, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Pomni, like Amazing Digital Circus, this is this whole thing." So essentially it was a independently animated kind of like series that I think it was last year put out like a pilot episode. And just putting it out to get it shot by other studios and stuff like that, hoping to get it bought. And it went bananas. Like, I think it's currently sitting at 380 million views
my
on
gosh.
YouTube.
Wow.
And it took them like, I want to say like 8 months to a year to come out with the second episode, but it just took on a life of its own.
Wow.
Like kids are obsessed with it. They just put out episode 2 like 6 months ago. And then they just put out the newest episode literally like 3 weeks ago. It's like they only have 3 episodes, but it has this cult following. Like Spirit Halloween now has costumes and everything.
Wow.
And so like it's this super
Mainstream.
huge thing. It's now mainstream, but it's still very niche. So it's like in the pocket. But yeah, that's her Halloween costume this year.
That's so cool. I
Yeah.
feel like there's some of those characters in those shows like that are more popular now, that are more niche audience.
Yeah. It's
Like
yeah.
Julia, my little 8-year-old bestie, loves cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon roll?
Yeah, cinnamon. She's a cinnamon roll
Oh,
is the
Cinnamon
name
Roll
of the
is a great
character.
pop,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
And like I forget, I think is she in the Hello Kitty world? I think, but I don't know.
It
She's
sounds
teaching
Hello
me.
Kitty
Okay,
is.
he's nodding.
It sounds very Hello
yes.
Kitty.
So she's teaching me like these other characters. Her
Yeah.
whole eighth birthday party was a cinnamon roll party, and I was like,
Really?
I've never heard of this
I've never
character.
heard
I
of
gotta like Google it and get some details
That's
about this
insane.
character. Yeah, so there's lots of like new. I feel like with all the different platforms and technology now. There's lots of
It
like
used to be
fun
like cable
shows and
TV.
characters.
Like
Exactly.
we had our regular channels. We knew where to find things. And,
I
you know,
miss
Exactly.
it. I miss it. Disney Channel was
too.
61.
Disney Channel was 61.
Nickelodeon 39.
You
I'm
knew,
like,
you knew the like slate of the day. You were like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yes.
Disney Junior PB&J Honor comes on at 9, right? I'm gonna watch some Roly Poly Oly right after that.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day, that's where like Even Stevens and the
Yep.
Lizzie McGuire show comes on. 8 o'clock was DCOM night. Like 8 p.m. was
8
Disney
p.m.,
Channel original
yeah.
movie. Like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You knew what was happening. Then on Friday nights, you had new movies that were like, hey, like you know
Exactly.
that you knew when
Yes.
those were coming out.
And new episodes of That's So Raven were
And
also
new
on
episodes, so
Friday,
that's
7
what they
p.m.
had a whole
right.
slate. Like you knew what was happening. You knew what your channels were.
You
and
knew how to
kind
plan
of-
your week.
You knew how to plan your week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Less
And if
anxiety,
you
probably.
wanted like some entertainment or some sort of surprise in between, then you pulled out the puffy VHS cassettes tapes. Now I'm really aging myself, people.
You're aging all of us. It's
But yeah, you know, and then you put in, you know, for me it was Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast for the 100th time, walking
gosh.
around the living room acting it out. It was no wonder why I started acting as a kid. But yeah, that was me being Belle at 5 years old in the living room.
Listen, like, and I know, like, I've had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about kind of like the way we used to consume media and TV. If you want to rewatch something, get the tapes out, hit
Yes.
record, that type of thing. Kids nowadays are confused about TiVo, like TiVoing something and like recording it and like watching it later. Like that was advanced for us when it came
That
out.
was
It
like fancy. We were like, you can record it?
Exactly. We're going
Like,
to your house.
I know, yeah.
We're going to your
Yeah,
house.
I
We're
was
gonna
like, well,
watch this.
the rich kids had that. I was like,
It was the rich kid thing, right? You go into the house, you see that remote, the special
Yes.
remote, like, ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh. They're fancy, right? But like something that, again, I'm gonna try and bridge the gap between like the kids who watch this show and like our ages, right? Like everyone's now like starting to really get on the NSYNC and Backstreet Boys train. Thank you
Yes.
to
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
everyone's listening to Bye 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 now.
I know.
I remember Disney Channel used to do this thing where they would show concerts, like whole
Yes.
concerts on Disney Channel.
I went to the Jessica Simpson concert,
Yo,
Disney Channel. They
that's
invited
so-
me.
that's
Let
so
me
cool.
like it was that
Oh
was
my
like such a
God.
moment in time.
Yes, it was so good stuff.
Yes.
So much good stuff. And that's how I learned the Bye 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 dance, was like watching it on Disney Channel. And they used to play it. I used to know that one song. With you with my heart when I'm
yeah.
with you.
Well, you know, a fun
Tear
fact
our
about that
apart.
specific performance, that specific NSYNC performance, is what put them on the map, because it was supposed to be the Backstreet Boys, and the Backstreet Boys were like burnt out, and they were like, sorry, we're not going to do this one. So they were like, great, NSYNC do it, and that's when everyone saw it, because it was on Disney Channel, and that's when they started to. I watched a lot of NSYNC documentaries.
Oh,
if
wow.
you-
Wow.
if you can't
Very,
tell.
very impressed.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
impressed.
So that's not only was it life changing for you, but also probably NSYNC.
Listen.
Yes.
Listen. Disney changed a lot of our lives in a lot of ways, especially like during that era where things were just so much simpler and you just sit down and watch these type of things.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, now to get into the reason why you guys are here, we're going to be talking about some Halloweentown, because like listen. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this, and I know some people going to be in my comment section like, oh, you capping because Kimberly's here and this and that. I'm going to say this, bro. Like, Halloweentown, I feel, was on the same level as when High School Musical first came out. Like, in the sense that it took on, like, its own level beyond, like, DCOM, right? Because it became the Halloween movie.
It still is. When you
It's
think of
still the
Halloween movies, it's like Hocus Pocus, Halloweentown.
Halloweentown. And, like...
What are the other like ones that aren't super scary? Practical Magic.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah,
And that
Nightmare
depends on whether I count as a Christmas movie. Sorry, like that's so.
It's not.
No,
I just did a video.
Oh,
on
we
it.
gonna fight.
No, the director said it wasn't. So.
Okay, we're gonna get your. I don't care what the director says. Okay, I don't care what the director says. Okay. Wait. When you say the director, are we who
Not
we talking?
Tim Burton. Well,
Not Tim Burton. Henry Selick.
Yeah.
You talking about Henry Selick?
Yeah.
Listen, I love Henry Selick. He's a friend of the show. You're wrong, bro. Like, you're wrong, bro. You put out art, and now it's up to our interpretation. And when you make a movie that's about a guy who's sick of Halloween and he's trying to appropriate Christmas for the whole movie, and the movie ends with them having Christmas and dancing in the spirit of Christmas, it's not a Halloween movie.
But the
anymore.
movie starts with "This is Halloween."
The movie starts everywhere, but that's what growth is.
Okay.
That's what growth is. If it ends the same way it started, it's not a really great arc, is it, Gabby? Shots fired. Anyway, I'll go to war for this. I'll go to war for this.
You are very passionate. I love it.
It's because you like Christmas better.
This is true.
Literally,
And I
can
tend
admit
to
that.
kind of, I tend to agree with you, but
Yeah.
also Christmas is
Also
like
Christmas.
the ultimate. Yeah. Like
I can admit this.
I'm a little annoyed this year because Thanksgiving is later in the month.
Oh,
And we're getting gypped out of a week of Christmas season. Usually it's the
Yeah.
third Thursday
Yeah.
of the month.
Yeah.
This year it's the fourth Thursday. I'd like to talk to the calendar people, figure out why. But yeah, so now we have 4 weeks of Christmas season. Well, who are we kidding? My Christmas tree is going to go up in November.
Listen.
But yeah,
November 1st. I was about to say Christmas season starts
Yeah.
November 1st for
Exactly.
me.
Yes,
And
totally.
like I've had people go like, "Oh, I know you're not gonna skip over Day of the Dead." Like, and I was just kind of like, "Listen, I don't want to appropriate. Like, that's not my
my
thing.
God.
That's not my thing. Sorry, y'all can have your thing. Like, if I don't want to see like everybody celebrating Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
come
Okay,
in
that's
with
fair.
everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
fair.
I'm like, let me have my Christmas. Like, me and my daughter have this tradition every November 1st. We go to Target, buy as much Christmas stuff as possible, put it in the bag. We get our Christmas tree. We go home, put on the loudest Christmas music we can do, and then we spend the night listening to Christmas music, making brownies and decorating the tree.
love
that's
that.
cute.
That's November 1st, and I get 2 months of
November
Christmas.
1st.
Yeah,
Yes.
2 months of Christmas time.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
I love that.
So that later
Yeah.
in the month, Thanksgiving, I'm like, I'm already in Christmas mode.
Yeah.
We're already here, so we're good with it.
No,
But-
I feel you. Yeah.
But back to Halloweentown.
Yes.
Like I am like really dying to know. Did you know you were making something special? Was it just the job that you were excited for? Because how old were you when you like jumped on when you got cast in this movie?
The first one I was 13.
13.
Yeah. So,
So
it
you were
was
actually 13 because that's what they
Yes.
talk about.
Yes.
They're like on your 13th birthday. You're lit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was 13 playing 13, which is, for
Very
an actor
rare.
a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
rare. Because as you get older, you don't tend to play your age much after that. But yeah, it was so exciting to me because especially then in the late 90s, like supernatural, projects and characters were not as common as they are now. So to get a script to get to audition to play a teenage witch was so exciting
Yeah.
to me. And I couldn't. I was beyond excited when I got it. I read a few times and auditioned some of the scenes in the beginning of the movie, arguing with Gwen as to why I couldn't go out and all that like teenage angsty stuff.
Couldn't wait to get there.
Exactly.
Couldn't wait to get there.
And then we found out, Debbie Reynolds was going to play our grandma, and that was just like.
Legend.
Couldn't believe it. Truly,
Legend.
truly a legend. And that the experience as a whole was so it was so fun and unique and special in that I was a kid also enjoying. I was a professional. I was doing my job, but I was also truly just enjoying the world, the production design and everything. The way they turned that town in St. Helens into Halloweentown, it felt real.
Yeah.
It felt very happy and like just walking around that town for the first time before we started shooting. I remember in the hot summer heat of July, we had to very, very much play the, it's Fallout. But that was,
It looked very bright.
yes, it was,
very
yes. But that was truly very, very special because I remember walking around going, oh, this feels,
Yeah.
feels Halloween-y. I love it.
Yeah, no, it definitely like captured like that Halloween spirit of it.
Yes.
It was unlike anything I've seen before in a DCOM movie.
Yeah.
Because the production design was it was mostly 90% set in Halloweentown.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so like with the other Disney movies, the only one that I could really think of that was kind of like it took it to another place was my favorite Disney DCOM movie, Don't Look Under the Bed. When they go
Yes.
under the bed and like this is like a whole nother world, right? But to see like the big pumpkin like in the center and like you got Benny the
Yes.
driving
Everything
the car.
kind of comes alive from the book,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
What from the book? I have the
Yes.
book on my
There you
desk.
go. Yes.
Was Benny an animatronic? What was that?
He was
Or
an animatronic robot. Like, I'll never forget the sound of him. Usually when you film like driving scenes in movies, it's a little different now with technology, but they usually put a car on a flatbed and
Right.
drive you around. And so we spent the whole afternoon driving around the town square with this robot driving us around. And these two grown men with huge remote controls in their hands moving every little piece of like a cheekbone and an eyebrow.
That was very impressive.
And yes, and you would just hear voot, 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 as somebody's off camera reading his lines. But it was such a unique day to
Yeah.
like be in the back seat with J. Paul and Emily, who played my siblings, and we're just driving around, Halloweentown with us saying lines with a skeleton. Like it was just it was fun. Like,
That's so fun, and I feel like it probably made it feel so much more real than if it was CGI or something
yes,
like that.
truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things about filming Halloweentown at that time that really felt special because a lot of it was done in real time, like Aggie's bag and pulling things out. Like a lot of those, those magic tricks, that was all practical.
Wow.
The hair dryer.
Like,
Yeah. Wait. So like now I want to learn how this happened. Like, like the Biddy thing was already like blowing my mind, like seeing like his facial expressions. And
they
I was
are
wondering
very
like,
expressive.
I was like, how do they even
Yes.
do that? But with the bag, like, was there something like under a table that was like kind of like feeding you guys?
They
things
did
or
it
something?
well. They had, I guess, in two different scenes. It was always set up on a platform that was a little higher than real life. So I remember they had a special platform and they made it look like the gravel.
Yeah.
And basically set it up to where underneath it was, everything that we had
like
to
hold
pull
it.
out. But it was just it just made it feel
was so
that much
cool.
more. Yeah, the hair dryer in the hair salon, that was real fire coming out.
What?
Yeah, like I did that scene.
What?
With it, like that shot with real flames. And,
That's
yeah,
The
it's-
90s were wild.
Yeah.
The 90s were wild. That's what I was thinking. Like the 90s were wild. They're like, I should be fine.
Yeah.
13 years old. Like,
They had all the safety people around and all of that, and like set it up. We just did that one shot by itself, separate. But yeah, that was a day where I was like, oh,
okay, this
that is fire.
Wait,
and that's hot.
Did you find that out on the day? Like nobody like prepped you for that or what?
I think I knew it was like I knew the scene was coming, but I guess that day they had kind of said, okay, just so you know, and they talk you through it and bring everybody in, and it, like I felt very safe and like it was very. They had planned it out very specifically, but and I was very proud that they let me do that shot because
Right.
a lot of times with stunts or weird things in movies, they're like, no,
Bring
protect the
somebody else
actor, and the
in,
actor's
yeah.
like, but I want to put on the pad and jump into the pile
Right.
of rocks, like I want to do it,
Like, if
and
you
they're like,
break
no,
your
no,
arm,
no,
we're,
no,
like, out a
that's
couple
why we have
weeks,
stunt
yeah.
people, yeah. So I was very excited that I got to do like a lot of that stuff, like the hanging on the pumpkin towards the end of the movie when
Yeah.
Calabar stops me from like I got to do all of that in real time. Like that was so exciting to me.
Calabar scared the shit out of me, but we'll get into
He's
that in a
scary,
second.
yeah,
He's
he scared a lot of people.
scary
He's a little
character.
scary.
Yeah.
Little.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm a
mean,
grown ass man. I'll admit that motherfucker was
Caliber.
scary.
Well, that one. No, it was that scene. The scene that scared me the most in the first Halloweentown was when they're in that movie theater and his
Yes.
face comes
His
out.
face
It was
is
that's
he's
what
doing
I
like that
always
weird
heard.
like
Yes.
thing. He's just like floating there, and like his movements were very like
they were
crow
also
like.
like petrified in the movie theater.
Just a
Matt-
bunch of
Matt- yeah.
And in my mind, those were dead people.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
murdered
were
those
dead
people because like they were like they were all dusty and like
Yes.
some of them had their eyes sunken in and like who knows how long they've been there. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, mind you, as a kid who loved the movie theater, like it scared me from movie theaters.
No, that
From,
movie.
like,
Oh,
from-
really? I guess that makes
absolutely.
sense.
that,
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
that movie and Phantom of the Megaplex, which was another
Phantom of the
one.
Megaplex?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't do movie
Yes.
theaters. I
Gosh.
was like, there might be a Phantom.
Thank you so much.
Don't want to take my chances.
I just appreciate you for mentioning Phantom of the Megaplex because again, like between that and
Yeah.
that, like movie theaters, I was just like, there's something going on. in these things.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's something
I'm
going
out.
on.
I'm
want
out.
nothing
Yeah.
to do with it.
But then-
I think I also read somewhere that Debbie Reynolds said on the first day of set that she introduced herself as Princess Leia's mom. Is that correct?
That was how she liked to introduce herself to fans in general. Yeah.
That
we-
is like proud mom energy.
Oh,
that
totally.
I love
she
that.
she was so proud. I mean, just spoke of Carrie and her whole family with just so much pride over the years. But yeah, we'd always have fans gathering around set to watch shooting and stuff. And Debbie always made it a point to go say hi. She always had photos on her to sign. Like she valued and loved her fans so much, and she taught me at a young age like what a gift it is to be able to perform for people,
Right.
make them happy, but also like how that relationship that you're nowhere without your
Right.
fans. And so she would walk up and just be like, "Hello, I'm Princess Leia's mom," and everybody would laugh and just it was so endearing and just
To say that is Debbie Reynolds though.
It's
Like,
I know,
you're
right?
Debbie Reynolds. That's
That's-
wild.
That's so intrinsic to who she was. She was
Yeah.
such a legend. I mean, just she lived and breathed it, but she wanted everybody else to shine as brightly as they could around her. She treated everybody like a peer. I mean, I was 13.
Right.
Emily and Jay Paul were younger than me, but she treated us all like peers and just, I mean, tried to move ladders for the crew on
Right.
set. You know, like they'd be like, we need this adjust, and she would go over and they'd be like, no, Miss Reynolds, no,
Oh
like
my
she just
gosh.
that was,
Rest in peace
you
to
know, the
Debbie,
spirit
man.
of who she was,
Rest in
truly.
peace.
That's
to Debbie,
amazing.
Yeah.
I have a Halloweentown tattoo. Being normal is vastly overrated.
Oh my
that she
gosh,
said
that's
in
so
it.
cool.
Yeah, I got that a couple years ago. And
I
was
just
like,
heard that in
that.
her voice too. I just heard it like vastly
Being
overrated.
normal is vastly, yeah, like she had, yeah.
I love it so much.
She told me she drew a little bit. I think it was from, was it Agnes Moorehead's character? Was it in Bewitched? I think she drew a little bit from her for Aggie, even though like so much of Aggie was intrinsic to Debbie, like her feisty, fun, giddy side of her personality was Aggie, but she also told me she drew off of Agnes Moorehead a little bit, which I thought was
That's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Just that
What a
energy.
legend.
Yeah.
And that was like before I knew who Debbie Reynolds was, right?
Yes,
You know, like I
yes.
feel like for a lot of us, in
Oh,
our
me
age,
too.
It was like that was
Yeah.
our introduction to
Yeah.
Debbie Reynolds, and
Yeah, like
You know?
I definitely watched, like my dad got me Unsinkable Molly Brown right after I worked with her, and I had seen Singing in the Rain, I think once, and then I
It's my
watched it
favorite
again.
musical.
But then I watched it, I mean, years later, in my early 20s, I was doing night shoots on a horror movie and watched it, and in my trailer one night, and just ended up like crying at the end of it,
Yep.
because I was like, not only is it just a fantastic movie that will, you know,
It's a
forever
classic.
be a classic. But like I was just like, I cannot believe I got to work with this woman, like to get to know her, and just, I mean, the talent, and as talented as she was even more so like an incredible human being. So
See,
yeah,
I love this.
Yeah.
Like, Singing in the Rain is my favorite musical.
yeah.
So like when I first watched it, I was like, oh, Debbie Reynolds is in this. I got to see this.
Oh my gosh.
And when little side note, when La La Land first came out, I kept saying like Debbie Reynolds did it first, because like it takes so
yeah.
many cues from Singing
really
in the
does,
Rain.
yeah.
So like every time I see La, I'm like, Debbie Reynolds did it first, right?
Yeah.
And she did it better. Like that scene where they're like on the movie set and you have that purple hue of light that
Oh,
that
yeah,
La La
yeah,
Land
yeah.
took on with the LA scene. I was just like,
Yeah.
see, they're just biting off of Debbie at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Even though there's more people that went into like making that and everything. I was like, it's
Yes.
Debbie's thing, right? Don't take it away from her. But so having like a legend on that set, like what was the energy like with everyone else? Like we know how Debbie was like towards everyone, but
Yeah.
how did everyone receive Debbie? Like were you there when you found out that Debbie was cast, and was there people going like, oh my god, like bowing down whenever she walked by? Like what was that energy like?
She always had such a gift for like disarming people. I think, you know, the crews and stuff, when she would first come onto set, you know, there was always such a level of respect. But there's I think maybe a little bit of tentativeness, you know, sometimes when somebody of that stature
caliber
comes
is
on,
intimidating. Yeah.
just, you know, and kind of like they kind of allow for somebody like that to kind of dictate, you know, what is needed in that moment or whatever. And she was always so disarming, and just, you know, would come on and be like,
Yeah.
hey guys, and you know, we would like, one of Daniel's favorite stories is filming in Halloweentown 2 late at night one night, and she would entertain like the cast and crew to kind of like, when the energy was low, she would
Yeah.
you know, dance around and try to get, but like she was very just wanting everybody to feel welcome and accepted, and just like, let's all have fun. You know, she always constantly seemed still genuinely excited that she got to do this.
Yeah.
You know, even in like, she never wanted to stop. Like she's just still got so much joy out of it. And it was so good for me to see as a teenager who had been working since I was 5, but like there was so many things I feel like that I just kind of like absorbed. I wish I had recorded more. You know, you think you're
Right.
going to remember the stories
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and then
As you get older, like you just start to
you're
be
like,
like,
no, it's,
how long ago was
come
that
back.
exactly?
Yeah, I wish
yeah.
I had just followed her around with a tape recorder.
Yeah.
You know? So tell me about the time, because
And
she
she would have
loved,
let you.
Oh
it
my
seems
gosh.
like she would have let
She
you.
loved
for sure.
sharing stories, like it, and having people laugh at her own expense, but just to share any kind of wisdom or anything. She just was always so open and giving like that.
Oh my gosh. See, I wish I could have been like a fly on the wall during like just the whole making of that film, like being around her. Like I'm pretty sure there was a lot of wisdom being thrown around.
Yes,
during
absolutely.
that time, especially for like a decom movie, right? Like you never like I want to. Damn, I'm just thinking of a TikTok right now. Like you know, like A-list like talent, like on
that we're
decom
in.
movies.
Oh,
Like, 'cause,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston was in.
Yes.
Who was he in?
What's it? It was a
Twas
Christmas
the
music.
Night?
Twas the Night.
Yes.
Bryan
Oh,
Cranston
oh my
was
God,
in
that
Twas
is
the
him.
Night. And like
we
you
did
know,
a whole TCA one year with him when Halloweentown 2 was coming out.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it was so cool. I think it was before, obviously,
Right.
yeah, way before a lot of things. But Debbie and I did that with him and Josh Zuckerman and it was like Halloween and
Zuckerman,
Christmas,
yes,
and you know,
yes.
doing the thing. Yeah, it was
He
great.
was in that as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
See, listen, like those DCOM movies, man. I like to see like where people start on those things and like where they go, but then also
Yeah.
kind of like the talent that comes from like people who've done movies and theater, and then they do
Yeah.
those, and it's almost like a mentorship thing, which sounds like that's what you got from Debbie while you were working with her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool to be able to, it was like so unique in that we had multiple chances to work together, but that I also grew up, like she was very, she was great when we were kids. She was very respectful because she has such a feisty body sense of humor. And she kept that, like, I think she said the word ass once during filming the first Halloweentown. And we giggled. We thought that was the funniest thing. And then as I got older, then she took all the filters off and and we had a blast together. So it was fun getting to grow up with Marnie and with the characters, but also grow up with Debbie. And the first Halloweentown was like only the second or third ever Disney Channel original movie made.
Really?
Disney Channel was not even in every household yet.
Whoa.
It wasn't like across the states. It wasn't a common cable channel. So like we got to watch the movie go. We were just supposed to do Halloweentown. People ask me all the time, like, did you know it was going to be movie theater, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we just had this one special movie and we were like, okay, Disney Channel, like this is cool.
Yeah.
And we got to watch it grow, but the fans have really fed so much into the movies over the years. That's why we got to do more and we got to watch the channel grow. I think it was after Quint's. And I want to say probably around 2000, 2001, something like that. But Disney flew a bunch of us to New York in Times Square because they had like a big, Time Warner has Disney Channel party now.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of us DCOM, like, people there
That's
having
cool.
fun. But like that was when I think it just like when Time Warner signed like Disney Channel to all the New York and like East Coast.
Yeah.
So it was a gradual.
So you
like,
got in
growth.
on the ground floor and like saw that thing
and
take
just
off.
watched it.
And Halloweentown's like a big part of that.
Yes,
That's
which is so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was Quint's before Halloweentown?
I think it was after.
Quint's was after. I think it was in between. I can never remember. Daniel always has to correct me. I think it was in between the first and second Halloweentown that I did Quint's because I would kind of pop and go do, work in different like other genres and do films or other things, and then I would come back and do a DCOM. So I think that was the order of it. But yeah.
Gosh, that's so fun. And were your brothers one of the babies?
Yeah, my brother Dylan, who's like in his mid-20s now. He's one of the older sets of Quints towards the end of the movie when they're like 6 months old. He's baby Eddie because he was hanging out on set and he was great with people to where the producer was like, hey,
Meet that baby.
any
Let's get
chance
that
he'll
baby.
come out and hang out? So yeah, there's a great shot in the scene where I come with the biker dudes at the end of the movie to the big dinner, the big award dinner with Don Knotts, and they're passing the babies across frame, and
Right.
Dylan is completely passed out, and they're just passing him across the frame. I'm like, there he is. That's my brother.
Easy to pick out the pass.
Yeah,
like, that's my
exactly.
brother's
Took a little
passed out
snooze,
one.
and they were like, great, that's great. He's quiet. Just pass him through.
I just love the progression of like what stories were being bought by like DCOM, because that
Yes.
at the core of that one is like this woman gets 5 siblings like
Yeah.
out of nowhere,
Yeah.
which like I don't want to say it's not common.
Yeah, but the overall I think theme of the movies,
Right.
or the movie was common in that you can be like, I kind of went through a similar version in that like I was the older sister to 3 younger brothers.
Right.
I have an older sister as well, but like that dynamic I think was very relatable to siblings,
who's
any
in, like,
kind of
a- like a
kind of
massive
sibling
sibling, yeah.
dynamic who's like, oh, I don't want to be the only child anymore, and then all of a sudden it's
Right.
like, well, wait a second, don't you remember me?
Yeah.
So it's I feel
As
like
someone
that
who
was
grew up with
relatable.
3 brothers, like it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're just surrounded by all these people. You're fighting
Yes.
for attention. Like,
Yeah.
And I was in the middle. Me and my twin brother were like in the middle of all
okay.
that. So like we constantly, little brother got all the attention. Older brother was like out doing his own thing. We're just
Yeah.
like,
Did you say twin brother?
Yeah.
Are you my
I
didn't know
identical
you-
twin?
we're fraternal, but like we have like similar features. We started to diverge. We looked more like when we were like younger.
Yeah.
But we started to diverge once we got older. But back then when we looked alike, people used to call us things like Reese's Pieces because he's like more your complexion.
What are you saying?
Like, I mean, you're caramel. you're a caramel girl,
Not
Gabby.
Reese's
Like,
Pieces.
you know what I'm saying? You got the peanut butter look. That's all I'm saying. And so, but that's we would, like walk around together and they'll say, "Oh, there go Reese's Pieces."
I'm
Or
dead.
somebody said beef and stew one time, and we never liked that. We were just kind of
That
like,
one's kind of gross.
where did that
Yeah.
even? It's kind of nasty. Like,
Yeah.
like what do you mean by that? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? But yeah. So like me and my twin brother were really, really close, and we always used to just be like, well, we just got each other. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
all we got. So, you know, watching that film and like seeing, mind you, seeing twins and seeing quintuplets, we were
Yeah.
like, damn, what if we had like 3 extra us's?
It does make you, it did make you think, you know,
Right,
like
right.
it, like that was definitely something different, you know, like and I loved that I got to break the fourth wall and talk to the camera again, something that wasn't done that
really
common then.
Yeah, and then
And
Lizzie
it was
McGuire.
so fun.
Then Lizzie
It was
McGuire
so
happened,
fun.
You know? Well,
Yes, exactly.
What was the TV show that broke the fourth? Like it was like a Disney Channel thing that broke. Well, I know Lizzie McGuire did it with the animated
Yes,
like
yeah.
versions,
Oh.
but I feel like there was like a Disney series that where someone broke the fourth wall pretty often, and I'm blanking on it
Was
right
it
now.
the Jersey?
Oh
It
my
wasn't
gosh,
the Jersey, but
forgot
thank you
about
for
the
pointing that
Jersey.
out because
Yeah.
I've been feeling crazy for the last few years. I was like, yo, the Jersey was about this Jersey. I was
Yeah,
live.
yeah,
and
yeah.
they
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Trent,
That's
and they
like
got Trent.
OG.
It's like
That's
OG
like OG,
stuff,
OG,
right?
yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
explain to people, they think I'm high. They're like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, it was such a great
Like they used
show.
to get a different like sports superstar every
Yes.
episode. It was such a crazy show.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm trying to
He
remember.
dropped
like,
down right in the middle of a football game.
right in the middle
or
of the
something.
it was the
Oh,
coolest
like,
thing.
It was great. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm David Beckham now.
Come on, we all wanted to
It
know
was
what
good.
that felt like.
You put on a football jersey. You put on a American football jersey, and you end up in a soccer match as David Beckham. It was like the weirdest
That is
thing.
It was.
so funny.
Yeah, and then one of the characters went on to do Stomp the Yard, and I just knew him as the guy from the Jersey. I was like,
awesome.
you know, the one pork chop. Like, he
Oh,
was
okay.
in
Because
the
I was
show
like,
The
I
Jersey.
think the lead guy passed away. No.
Columbus Short, the lead guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Columbus. I don't know.
No,
No,
he's,
Columbus
no,
Short?
he hasn't.
Fact check that.
He
He's
was on
alive,
Scandal, right?
He was on Scandal.
Yeah, he's not. He didn't pass.
You're
yeah.
probably thinking of he got canceled. He passed away in the professional sense.
Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of.
You're probably thinking of the famous Jet Jackson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably thinking of the famous Jet Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah,
rest in
what
peace
a
to him,
special
man.
guy.
Man,
Yeah.
God, we'll
That-
get off topic if we like.
I
Really,
know,
like,
I know.
because we can
Yeah.
go all day with this type of thing.
Yeah.
But back to Halloweentown. I really
Yeah.
want to get into Halloweentown too.
Yes.
Calabar's Revenge.
Calabar's Revenge.
Oh my god.
That one is my favorite one of the series.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
It's my favorite one.
I love that. I love hearing what people's favorites are because
Oh.
everybody
Listen.
loves, you know, different movies for different reasons.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I got many different reasons.
Okay.
One small reason is that Gort's house is part of my everyday life and language, right?
Suck.
When things get lost, I literally say, I guess it's at Gort's house now.
I love
Like,
that.
I'm
You know
like,
how
it's
many
at Gort's
times
house.
I've heard that over the years, and it like touches my
You
heart
know, like,
so
it's
much.
real,
that it's
'cause I'll
had that
put it-
impact on
You
people.
put it down, it's gone. It's like, where else could it be?
Truly.
It's Gort's house.
Actually, and one of the, you know, Daniel and I do a lot of appearances at like Comic Cons and stuff over the years. And one year, a fan brought us a lost sock sign for our laundry room. That's a long sign with
Yeah.
like little hooks on the bottom to hang lost
Yeah.
socks, and it's in our laundry room.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, that's
yeah.
dope.
So yeah,
But the big reason is because of Daniel. Like, the big reason, Cal.
Why? He's the villain.
Cal
you
is
like
a
that?
no. I like because listen, he is a top tier Disney villain ever. I don't care what nobody
Whoa,
says.
I've never thought
Ever.
about that actually.
He's a top tier because one, he basically gets away with everything.
He does.
He basically gets away.
yeah, where
The-
does he go in the end?
Yeah.
The only reason he loses was because the power of love, I guess. That's the only reason he loses, and he doesn't get defeated. He just runs away because
I
he's
know.
that upset. Like
I know.
He said he only loses because of his own hubris. He says, "Take the books." Oh shit, she took the books. Fuck. And he gets out of there.
I'm out.
And they say,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you know he'll be back, and we'll be waiting. I'm still waiting
I'm
for
so
Cal to
I.
to make
Yo,
his
hello
return.
Disney Oh my god, a Halloweentown
But
17 would kill.
listen, absolutely.
When I tell you the fans that ask me for that every day, and we would totally be down, and Disney knows it.
And Cal
But
needs
they
to come
know
back.
I would do another
Disney.
one, but it's
Halloween
the
Town.
ball's in their court right now. So if you all want to see another one, tell
Bring
Disney you would
Cal
watch
back.
it.
Bring
I'm
Cal
just saying.
back.
It's already written. He says,
Listen.
I'll be back. Like,
Listen,
bring me back.
At every turn, he had a counter after counter
did.
after
He
counter.
shifted.
the way he
was prepared.
And he came into your house, risen you the fuck up.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did.
Like
the
he
rose.
rizzed you though.
Walked
like
right
he
through. Yep.
I would listen. He said he got into the bedroom, got to your grandma's bedroom.
I
He was like,
know.
show me the whole house, and then it was just kind of like, I could do that anytime. That's what I was like. Damn, he's diabolical. He said, I
Marnie
just wanted you to
just-
show me.
Yeah.
That's right. He did say that. I forgot.
He
about
said,
He
I just
planned
want
the
you to
whole damn thing.
Planned the whole damn
Planned
thing.
it all. Yep.
Like
And
I'm like,
Marnie was
you
just
to
like,
show
la la
me.
la.
La, la, la.
Like,
He
I was
said,
like,
"Look,"
come on, girl.
But he was still into you though. He was
He
like,
was.
she's cute,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I want her to show me. Like that's how I'm gonna test the Riz out real quick.
Yeah,
No,
Like-
I feel like that art imitates life in that sense because I'm like, no, that's a lesson that every little
It's a
girl should
lesson.
take away.
It
Thinking,
really
I
is.
just wanted
Truly.
to just
It
make
really
you.
is.
Yes.
He just had like he just had the swagger that a white boy shouldn't have had. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna cap.
You don't think
Like,
it was the outfit? I feel like he was
gonna
wearing a lot of
love
black.
that you
a
said
lot of
that.
a lot of it was the outfit. A lot of it was the
Yeah.
outfit. But like
Yeah.
that moment where like the mother is like at the party and she looks up and he's in the middle of this like spell and he looks at her looking at him and he just goes,
You take your
no,
mask
like
down.
he puts the mask on and then he
Yeah.
says, no, where was I? Cal is my dude, bro.
No, speaking
love
of a
Cal.
moment that scared you, after that, Calabar's Revenge, the second movie when everyone gets, spoiler alert, when everyone gets turned into the Halloween character
Yep.
that their costume
Yes.
was.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I was no longer scary things for Halloween. I was like, just in case someone casts a
Just in
spell at
case.
midnight, I
Yep.
don't
I'm
want to
so
be
sorry
turned into
about
this
that.
forever.
I'm
No,
so
it's fine. I'm scared of my own shadow, so like it was probably for the best. But I was like, I don't want that to happen. Like, what if you're stuck as a goblin forever?
It's a fair point.
After
Yeah.
seeing your mother,
yeah, that was
after
scary.
seeing your
I
mother,
know.
that was one of the scarier than Calabar.
Yeah.
First movie.
Scary.
Truly.
Scarier than Calabar.
That
in
And
the first
she,
movie.
Judith, lived the hell, like, loved having that thing on, walk around
Really?
behind the scenes.
Wait, did she?
and,
That was
like-
her in the thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was her.
Oh, that was her. She still has. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get it wrong now. She still has the teeth, I believe. But that was a whole like mask made. You know, they made that specifically to her features and stuff. Yeah, she was walking around like that all day.
That's so
I
funny.
had legitimate nightmares in my adult life about that
Her
thing.
fingers, I can like see
The
her
fingers,
Yes.
it was the fingers,
Yes.
and it was like the way she like,
Yeah, she got so into
like,
that. I loved it.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
God.
it
Yes.
worked. Clearly,
like the mask itself was already pretty hideous,
Right.
Like pretty hideous.
But she ran with
But
that
that-
so hard that it just made it even like scarier on another level.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man.
Yeah.
And everybody else was scary. They were spooky, like
Sure,
right.
sure.
Tell me her name because the super hot vampire chick,
Oh, the one with the curly hair.
the one with the curly hair. She was
Do you
like
think
the biggest
Was
crush.
she an extra? What do you mean?
No,
Tell me her name.
she was the one who she didn't like your brother, and he was like trying to push up on her, and she was like, "Who
I
are you
wanna
supposed
say
to
her
be?"
name was Jessica,
El
but I
Geeko?
can't remember if that was her character or the actress. No,
Listen.
Jessica Lucas, I think was the
I
actress.
was
I
was hoping that you were still friends with her.
That is the
I was hoping you were still friends
That's
with
That's
her.
the day that I am. I'm
Cold.
sorry. I think she lives in Canada, honestly, but I'm not
She's
sure.
from Canada?
That's where we shot that, and
Remember
she
when
was
I-
up there at the time. I don't
Remember
know.
when I said I swore off a long distance relationships?
Oh my god.
Listen.
It's only Vancouver too. That's where we
It's
shot
all- that's
that. It's
like
not
a-
that far.
I already know it's
Vancouver,
a
not that far.
3-hour flight.
Yeah, it's not bad.
nothing.
Of all
So,
the Canadas,
Listen, when
it's
she
the
turned
easiest
into that
Canada.
vampire, she was already cute. When she turned into that vampire, that was 2001. I was 9. Little me was like,
Oh my god. No, I had the hots for that troll. Luke.
Yes.
Luke was cute.
the
Human
troll.
Luke.
Oh,
Yes.
Luke, he was cute.
Human Luke
Marnie's
turned into
BFF. Yeah.
zaddy when he
was
got
he was a
it.
Yeah.
zaddy. I don't know what it was about his hair too. Like that hair shouldn't have worked on everybody.
Yes.
But
it did.
like, it was
really
working for
worked
him.
on Phil. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there was a thing. Like okay, what happened? Because he was legitimately a troll in the first one. Like
Because
legitimately.
Calabar, no, the original. I'll tell you what happened. Sorry to take the lead.
Well, I
No,
remember
please, go
that.
ahead,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
No,
like-
Calabar had cast because he was helping Calabar, so Calabar
Yes.
was like, "I'm gonna make you hot." And so when
Yes.
Calabar like died or dissipated or whatever happened to
Yes.
him, then the spell that he cast was no longer, so he turned back into a troll.
No, I get that.
Oh,
What I'm
okay.
saying is like when he turned back into his regular trolley dolly self.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he was like all like with the bulges and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the next
bulges.
one he like grew up and he was a troll, but he was still kind of like a hot troll.
Because he's hot.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm
They,
saying.
yeah, he was like,
You
yeah,
know?
he was like the handsome teenage like goblin. Now you were
Right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
Luke.
Like he
yeah.
that troll went through puberty. Like he was just going through
See,
puberty.
things
That's
are
what was
universal.
happening.
Like in the mortal world and Halloweentown,
You know?
creatures go through puberty too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went from like a nose that was kind of like bouncy and like bulbous to like this nice little defined.
Well, I also
like,
wonder,
pointy
like,
thing.
how did the budget increase a lot for the second movie compared to the first movie because it got so
I'm
popular?
very
or,
I'm very
like,
curious
what
on
was
that, too.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't like. we shot the second one in Canada, so in Vancouver, and where they created, that whole different like Halloweentown world and stuff. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
So
they wanted it to have a different vibe.
Yeah,
it definitely did too.
And Mary Lambert, who directed Pet Sematary, directed Halloweentown too. So that's also why it has a little bit of a edgier vibe.
It has like a Sleepy
to it.
Hollow
Look
type
at the
of
gray
vibe to it,
spell and all that. Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
the darker side of Halloween.
So that made a lot of sense for like the gray spell to give like Halloweentown like a different look.
Yes.
But it's like someone who like prides himself on being a professional overthinker. I want to see what Halloweentown looked like at the end when it was like in full Halloweentown mode, because the Halloweentown, the first one felt very big, very like expansive, like with the big pumpkin lantern at the center of it all, right? It was like the Mecca. But then in the second movie at the very end, it felt smaller. Like it felt like the houses were closed in on it, and it felt more like a courtyard that people walked into. So when everyone's kind of dancing and everyone's like, "Hey, we're like spooky again," I was like, Halloweentown's changed from the first movie, right? But then I remember Halloweentown time passes differently.
Yeah.
And like,
and
from the Mortal World, that one. Then I remember it passes differently. So they could have just like architecture just could have got more.
I think Marnie says in the beginning of that one something like Grandma says Halloweentown's always changing.
It's always
and
changing.
I think they wanted it to feel So
at first I was gonna like nitpick and be like, that's different, but I was like, wait, they have actually explained this in a very like subtle way. So that was really cool because like again, we don't spend a lot of time in like all of Halloweentown and Halloweentown 2.
Yes.
A lot of it's spent in Gort's house, and it jumps back to Earth. We're spending more time in Earth. And everything.
Yeah.
But that fucking Gort's house, man. Like,
that was crazy. Did you
Gort
ever see
was great.
Halloweentown 3, the third one?
I did.
High School High or Halloweentown
Halloweentown
High?
High.
yeah.
But I was kind of salty because I
Why?
was like, I want to go back to Halloweentown.
Well, homie
I want to
from
be in Halloweentown. So
American
bad.
Horror Story was in that, right?
Yeah, Finn.
Yeah.
Finn Wittrock.
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of brought Halloweentown to the mortal world in Halloweentown High.
They were
we
like,
had
exchange
a
students,
new
right?
writer and stuff, so it took on a different feel all those years later. But I loved that we got to kind of show that like again there was so much of like Marnie's life and the Cromwell's lives that were relatable because they were still Marnie and Dylan and Sophie were still kids and teenagers trying to figure out who they were and what they were going to do in life. And so I loved that we brought it to the mortal world to kind of show that like even creatures are worried if they're going to be accepted in school. And like it kind of showed that a lot of those things are universal no matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from. And I loved that. And by then too, Debbie really got to run with all the different teachers that like all the different substitute positions. She really got to like lean into all the comedy of Aggie being like trying to teach badminton like I
love that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Lucas Grabeel was also in Halloweentown High.
Yeah, he was one of the students.
Great
yeah.
deal.
I actually don't know how to say. I've never met him in my life, so
It's great Bill, please. But yeah, no, I was like, High School Musical ties, like we love this. Like,
totally.
So
yeah.
When I love the synergy when I see other actors and other things and seeing it in Halloweentown High.
And they ended up shooting High School Musical at the same high school where we shot Halloweentown High. Yeah, so we were at that school too.
So much.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
Well, Kelsey was in that too, right? The piano, Ryan and Kelsey. Because they were a couple.
Oh, Alicia, yeah, she was Natalie the Pink Troll. That's right.
So they just got to go back to school, basically.
Yeah. Because
Listen.
a few of those actors at that time were local to Salt Lake. So Alicia and I can't remember the guy who played Chester, but he was there, and there was some great actors there that I loved Alicia in High School Musical. It was such a different role that like I was like, oh, go girl,
I'm gonna need to see a Halloweentown High School Musical. Movie.
Well, I heard I think like Corbin Blue was on a podcast recently, and him and Lucas were talking about how the third High School Musical, they wanted to be a Halloween High School Musical. Like the idea had gotten thrown out that it was supposed to be a spooky High School Musical. I was like, I would have loved that personally.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
That would have been really
Absolutely.
cool.
That would have been hard.
Yeah.
That would have been
So
hard.
going back to our reboot idea.
Honestly, give me like holiday themed.
If Kenny Ortega had his hands on Halloweentown, I feel like magic would be created.
Listen,
that would be cool.
The musical performances in that, like just like choreography wise, in a Halloweentown thing, I just want to see some fucking like witches doing some like high flying like shits. Like I want it to go crazy.
Yes.
Like, and I want it to be like layered. I want the trolls over here, just fucking moonwalking and whatnot.
Oh my gosh.
Get like skeletons. Make Thriller again. Like just do like a thriller type thing.
There you go.
I'm down.
There
with
was
that.
that monster one, calling all the monsters, calling all the. That's more of a. That was a little bit, after our time, but it was. Was it China Anne McClain? Was that the girl that there was a girl?
China Anne McClain. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're thinking of they just had a third movie, that Descendants, right?
No. I mean, maybe she's in that too, but she had a hit in like 2010 that was calling all the monsters, and it's like that, like it's like a Disney Channel thriller.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I was.
Up.
Yeah, no.
That sounds dope.
I think it's China Anne McClain. But yeah,
Okay.
I think it was like more Gen Z, but
yeah, no,
for sure.
Raven
also had Superstition that she did for the
That's
Haunted
true.
Mansion.
She killed that.
That's right.
She killed that.
That's
That was
yeah.
that video
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah, I love China though, because I recently just watched all of the Descendants movies, like back to prepare for the newest one. And that what's my name? Uma, say it loud. I'm like, this girl is fire, bro. Like, put her in something else. Put her in more. I want all of this, you know?
Something else. What was your favorite Halloweentown to film?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
please.
gosh.
Please say Halloweentown too.
I loved them all for different reasons. I think the first one will always hold a special place in my heart because it was establishing so much. And I know people want me to say the second one for so many obvious reasons.
You know.
But it truly, like Daniel and I we had a good time working together, but there was nothing romantic there at all. Didn't even cross our minds at the time. So it doesn't hold that particular space for me. But
how old was he when you guys did that together?
he was in his early 20s. We have like a good 5 or 6 years in between us. So even
so
on that level, it wouldn't have even been a
it.
consideration. But it was just I admired him because we all got along so great, but like he was coming into an established cast and just jumped right in and we all had a great time. But some actors, they get a little insecure, whatever, like you never know how the the vibes are going to be, but like we all just jumped right in and had a great time and would have no idea that whatever that was all those years, 12 15 years later, that we reconnected. And I reached out to him because I was doing some comedy sketches for my YouTube channel, and I thought some of the fans would think it was fun if he came in and so we got together.
And raised you up again, didn't
exactly.
He brought up the cow.
We actually even shot a little short film on my YouTube channel. It's still up there. It's called Realm Are They Now, and we did. We explored the idea if Cal had gone to magic rehab after he flew away in Halloweentown 2. So there is that on my YouTube channel of like him trying to be reformed in rehab.
Oh,
but
that's so funny.
could he ever really be reformed? I don't know.
I'm gonna watch it, but right now I'm like imagining him like right after screaming his way out of the party, like he lands at like a lake and he's looking at his reflection and he's like, I need to change.
Mufasa style, or
you wonder what would really be the catalyst for that, because I was surprised how many fans when we first went public were, oh my God, I shipped Marnie and Cal. I was like,
they do
what?
it, yeah.
Because it's like the Chuck Bass, Blair Waldorf thing. People love a bad
I guess
guy.
That's true too.
Well, it's like the Avatar: The Last Airbender thing with Zuko and Aang. I don't know if you guys watch Avatar. It's a whole
the arrow one.
With the arrow
Water, air, fire.
So me and this girl that I'm seeing, like, she's never seen it. And we're rewatching the whole thing. It's, if you can get a chance, it's one of the greatest animated shows ever to exist ever. It has, I'm dead ass, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I cannot tell you, Dante Bosco, who's like absolutely amazing. Like, shout out to
I just
Rufio.
hung out with him at a con. He was great.
He would tell you know what I'm saying? He plays Zuko, and Zuko
Yes.
has one of the best character arcs in fiction, period. Like, it's like it's incredible what they do with that character. It's inspired by Japanese animation as well. They brought it to the Western culture. And the themes are so deep and rich, and I could go all day on how great it is. But again, within that, like in the fandom, there's like Zuko the bad boy, and then there's Katara the good girl. And there was one episode where they were trapped in a cave together, and everyone's just kind of like, yes, Zutara.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And Dante will tell you he ships the Zutara thing as well. He'll be like, that's what it should. So it just, I feel like in media, like there's always like the bad boy, the good girl, like let's put them together.
I just was like, Marnie would have. I don't see a world where Marnie would ever acquiesce. Like I feel like that would be betraying so many of her family values.
He turned her mom into giant like
Exactly.
Troll woman.
troll
Yeah,
And his
seaweed
dad
woman.
and
was
she
like
put his
frogs.
dad in a talisman. So like, I don't.
You know,
There's gonna be some family issues, you know. I
There's-
just
mean, how you
don't.
gonna work through that? Like,
Yeah,
how does
I
that
don't. I
conversation
just. Yeah,
start?
I don't. I don't know that that's. Yeah.
Hey, Marn, I'm thinking about inviting Dad to Thanksgiving.
Right,
Like,
right,
what do you think?
What do you think? LOL.
Does that
Really
mean
great.
we
Tell him to
release
come because I'm gonna trap his ass again.
Imagine that
Like
thread
I just.
across the
Yeah,
table.
yeah. I just don't think that would.
Calabar, shut the fuck up before I put you in that talisman again.
Exactly. That would be the threat. I just don't think that would go over well.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think
So
so.
yeah.
Where is that talisman living now? Do we know?
I have no idea.
I like
Might
to
be
think
in
it's
a
in the bag.
prop house or
Like in the
something
deep,
somewhere.
like, oh wait, you mean
What
like
do
in
you
real
think
life?
it's
You mean in
Oh
real life?
yeah, no,
I
like
was
in real
like-
life.
In real life.
I'm
I was like,
A couple of the props have made it like out and about. Like I met a fan years ago that has Sophie's hat from the first one, and he had bought it from a prop house in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I wish I had known it was there. I would have grabbed it. So like, I have Marnie's hat and outfit from the second one. Debbie kind of helped facilitate that, but I wore it in the third one too.
yeah.
And I have the bat from the first Halloweentown, the
Okay.
Calabar's assistant that
Yeah.
pops up, and
Oh my gosh.
so
that
yeah,
one.
Disney gave me
Nice,
that after the
nice.
movie came out.
That's
so
cool.
I
Usually,
like keep
I
him
hear actors have
preserved.
to steal those type of things. Like
Yes.
the fact they gave it to you.
that was a really cool gift.
That's really
Trying
dope.
to keep him, preserve him as well as I can over the
Mm-hmm.
past 25 years or whatever it's been.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, like, stepping a little bit out of the Halloweentown like realm, like the reason why I started this podcast is because I love getting to talk to talent, directors, actors, and writers, get a sense for who they are by talking about their favorite movies and what they're into.
Yeah.
So, what I'm gonna ask you now is like, what is a movie or movies that has completely changed your brain chemistry that created Kimberly J. Brown today?
Oh gosh.
We always get that response, and we love it. It's a very existential question.
It is.
It is.
This is your first time, so we're gonna like put that question over to you too. as well.
Oh,
what
good.
is-
Okay, I'm not the
I
only
was gonna
victim
ask
Oh,
you
so
today.
you weren't
today.
you're just
Fantastic. I'm
like
not
this is just
alone.
for her. Don't even.
A movie that's changed.
A movie that literally like changed your brain chemistry, like the building blocks.
Mine,
to-
I think more Broadway shows. Is that
Broadway
because like
shows.
I can tell you the show that
That's-
I saw
I
that
love
I
that.
was like, no, this Cats
right
for me.
there.
Well, I guess technically it was
Cats?
a movie. Cats is my favorite musical. Don't judge me.
Not judging. It's
I
just
love it
surprising,
because
yeah.
so when I was 3, my mom got me the VHS of and the cassette like tape of they filmed it in the West End or whatever. So you can buy it, the stage just like version of it, and I would just watch it all the time because I was like a little kid. It's just cats and
Yeah.
costumes, singing
Yeah.
and
That
dancing
makes
and
sense, yeah.
super fun. I didn't know it was like Andrew Lloyd Webber and Insane Ballet and like all of this stuff.
Can I ask you one question?
Uh-huh.
What is a Jellicle cat?
Oh, a Jellicle cat is it isn't just one of your, there's a whole thing and there's a whole poem about it. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may say it first time, as mad as the Hatter, when I tell you a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, a Jellicle, yeah, there's a whole poem. I don't want to say the whole thing.
Okay,
But there's
so,
a thing.
so far it sounded like supercalifragilistic.
It's
Expialidocious.
a Jellicle cat is just like, they're just talking about how they're different like characters. They're just personalities, different personality. And the whole show
Okay.
is just basically without the whole show.
I'm just
they're
going off
trying-
of the movie.
the
Like I
whole-
saw the movie
oh,
and the
you
whole
saw
time.
the new movie?
Yes.
No,
there's
we
an
don't
old
talk
one.
about that.
There's an old one.
Oh no, you
What?
gotta watch the
I haven't
OG.
seen it, no. Yeah.
The new
I didn't
one
know
was bad.
this.
The new one was
No, yeah, with musicals you gotta like watch the OG.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could
Hey, wait,
I
what-
could go on the same rant about the Les Mis movie.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay. Wait.
I
how
was
d-
in the Broadway musical when I was 8, and I can't
Oh.
watch
Were you
the
a
movie.
Little Eponine or Cosette?
Both.
were
They
both?
they would have us. They
Wow.
bring 3 girls in and have us rotate throughout the week. So we would one would be off, and like then one of the girls would also be on standby for Gavroche. And
up.
since you're a theater buff, my best friend Lacey Chabert, who's
Yes.
in Mean Girls
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
different Hallmark, bunch of different things, been a kid actor. I met her when I was 7, and so we've been friends. But she and I did Les Mis together on Broadway, and she is one of the girls that got to play Gavroche on Broadway. Like when both boys, because they would have 2 boys. And one, like, and you go, okay, well, when would that ever happen on a day where both guys, and it happened once, and like last minute on a matinee, she had to go out,
Oh my god.
and it was so cool.
That's crazy. My background's in Broadway, so when I did Motown the musical, the national tour, and we had
Oh,
3
yeah.
little Michael Jack, or 2. No, wait, sorry, we had 2 little Michael Jacksons. But it was always so because they're both so different, and
Yeah.
like, it was just so funny. And one of them I saw recently, he's like 20 or 19 now, and I was like,
Okay.
wait, you're 8. This
Wild.
is
That blows your mind.
weird.
For sure.
It blows
Yes.
your mind. But yeah, Cats was one I'll
Okay.
say that like changed the trajectory of I think
That was like a crossroads moment. Like that was.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is really cool. And then Billy Elliot, when I saw that musical on Broadway, I was like, this is what I want to do, because those kids. And I grew up in New York, and so like a couple of the girls we took from the same voice teacher and stuff. So I was like, oh, they can do it, I can do it. And like, but they were so good. And like, seeing that cast had a large majority of children in it as well. There was an adult cast, but it was like, the show focused mainly on the kids and their dancing ability. And like Billy Elliot, it was kind of like Troy Bolton. He was a boxer and became a ballet dancer.
Okay.
But it was like seeing them get to just like truly kill it and having the audience love it. And the three boys were nominated for a Tony that year.
Oh,
the three boys that played Billy Elliot.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
And one of them was just
Wait,
in the West
all
Side
three
Story
of them?
movie. All three of them. Yeah.
Like, was it like a joint thing? Was it like, did they just take
for
up the
child
category?
labor laws or whatever, if you're a minor, you can't do 8 shows a week. So that's why they split the roles. And so, the Billy Elliot role got nominated. So all three of them got nominated.
Oh, so it was the role that got, okay, so that makes sense.
Like because I mean.
Because like I was thinking like if there's like 5 nominations, 3 of those boys
Three
are
of them
taking
are Billy Elliot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
like they all got, and
Okay.
I think they won actually.
They all, wow.
I feel like I remembered them like seeing them have a speech. Like I'm vaguely remembering. And then the other little boy, the other character, was also nominated. His name.
These kids are killing.
No, that's what I'm saying. They were killing it. That's why I was like, this is
and
so
they had
cool.
to be, they had to be like so freaking talented to be
So
chosen
talented.
for
Right,
that.
for Tony,
Yeah.
for a
for
Tony, like
for a Tony over
and
adults.
to star on Broadway. Yeah, like
That is
It's
insane.
even like because getting in. So did you?
I wonder how
was
they're
theater-
sharing that Tony.
I know, right? Actually,
know.
where is
Do
it?
they all get a Tony, or do they like mail it to each other?
Well, David Alvarez, one of them was in West Side Story. He played Bernardo in the movie, the one that just came out a few years ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. So he was Billy Elliot in
Wow,
2010.
he was
Fun
great.
fact. Yeah. So did you get your start in theater or film first? Or TV?
more so in theater. Yeah, I started in New York, and my first big job when I was 7 was a play called Four Baboons Adoring the Sun. It's a John Guare play that was at Lincoln Center.
Oh, that's cool.
And I played Stocker Channing's daughter, 7 years old, directed by Sir Peter Hall, the late great Sir Peter Hall. And yeah, I loved performing then, and as a kid, and my parents put me in a performing arts class to kind of see if I could just get it out a little bit, so I wasn't always in the mirror, acting it out. And some scouts there had kind of like, well, if anybody here ever wanted to try it professionally, like she would be great at it. And so we tried it, and I remember it on stage in Lincoln Center at 7 years old, standing out there going, oh, I never want to stop doing this. Like I just, something, clicked for me there. Right. But going back to like projects, movies, and shows that like, and it's funny. I remember, I was going to say a couple different movies, but when I first started in college, I took a break in my late teens, early 20s from acting, and went to college and thought I was going to get like a, film degree and then a theater degree. But the one of the most like full circle moments of my life was one summer I was filling in some credits, and I took a cinema course and ended up watching fantastic movies, like obviously The Godfather on the Waterfront, and we watched Thelma and Louise, which I remember that film really like hitting me. And during that class, I was actually filming a movie. So my life was like full circle, because I had to there was one day I had to be shot out so that way I could fly down to the college and take a test, like take a midterm. And I was like emailing the teacher going, so I'm actually an actress, and so I might be a few minutes late, hoping, praying this guy believed me. But like that was like a full circle moment. So I remember really falling in love with Thelma and Louise like during that class, and just, I mean, everything about that movie, cinematically, performances, everything. So that just always stuck out to me. But another film that I remember, Memento.
Memento.
I want to actually go back and watch it again, but I remember that movie at the end of it. That really, I couldn't say it changed my life, but it really made me go, oh, as somebody, especially growing up in the industry and growing up loving film and TV, to go, wow, like, oh, we could.
It changed your mind of what you could do with film. We could do this differently. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it just, like little, creative explosions go off in your head where, your brain's kind of expanded a little bit. Like you're shown something you'd never really
some room being made
considered
for, more
before.
Creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember that with Memento specifically going, whoo. And I've loved Christopher Nolan's work ever since. How can you not? But that particular movie, I remember that.
And I was
sure.
I think that was like only Christopher Nolan's like.
He was,
It was like he was early,
yes,
early
very
movies. I want to
early
say
work.
like third movie, maybe.
And it wasn't a movie I would have initially, there was some films like that growing up as a teenager, I wouldn't have necessarily watched.
It's not my thing.
But then I would go and see certain movies at the time too that were coming out for like auditions and stuff, like to help me see different, or like, or being in the industry and being at award shows, you see certain films and, so it was cool to be exposed to that in the culture, earlier than I would have been had I not, been in the industry.
It's solely like, things like Thelma and Louise, and less Thelma and Louise, but more Memento. Those are what you would like call like the film bro movies, where people say you have to watch these movies if you want to call yourself a cinephile. If you haven't seen these movies, then like you don't like movies. And it's kind of like, but at the time, like, this was me during college, where it's like I knew I was someone who loved movies, but something like a Memento would be something I would be like, I'll probably never really like get into that.
Yeah.
But then, one day you sit on the couch, you're just kind of like, all right, maybe I should check this thing out. And then your mind just completely melts from the inside out. You're just like, what have I been missing this whole time, right?
Truly.
But then you remember how those people interacted with you who felt superior for like seeing something like that. And so like, I don't like make it a habit of running around saying, you should see Memento. You should see Memento. I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's great. It's like, it's really great.
Yeah.
A movie, it's not similar to Memento, but it definitely like changed my brain chemistry from a personal level to a, oh my God, this is what we can do with movies, is Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Yes.
Have you seen that one?
I just watched that again recently. I really, that's one of my favorite movies, like in general. Just
it's probably, and mind you, I have like my list of movies that I consider perfect. I only have 4 movies I consider perfect.
Okay.
That's not on that list, but I do think it's probably the most perfect script that's ever to exist. And I know I made a lot of hyperboles while sitting in this chair today, but I've gone on record in saying this, and I don't know if you know the premise of the movie or not.
No.
So it basically has Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, and Jim Carrey just recently went through a breakup with Kate Winslet's character, goes to her like local like store, this library that she works at, and she just doesn't know who he is. Like, he's like, this girl that I've been in a relationship with, like, literally is looking at me like she has no idea who I am. Finds out that she did this procedure where she got her memories of their relationship erased. And so he says, I'm going to do the same thing because fuck her. And so the movie is literally inside of his mind as he's reliving their relationship, slowly realizing that maybe he might want to keep some of these memories, but also like he doesn't want to like. So it's a total mind trip.
Now I want to see it again. Now that you're talking about it,
it's so good. It's a total mind trip. It's one of Jim Carrey's best performances.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, have you seen Once Bitten? Because I watched that the other day, starring a 27. Yes, you've seen it. It's the most 80s vampire movie starring like Jim Carrey, maybe 18 years old.
Oh wow.
It is so.
Really?
I don't know how I had never seen it because I like love the corniest Halloween movies, but I fell asleep on my couch and woke up. I had Tubi on, and this was playing, and I was like, "What is this?" And it has a song too. It's like "Once Bitten." It's so 80s. It's like
You can just feel the 80s coming off of that.
Yeah, you totally can. That's hilarious.
It was giving like about to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I would see Once Bitten if you please, for the love of God.
Yes.
Like, I think that's a movie that everyone should experience just once, because not just for the fact that Jim Carrey has been, I don't want to say pigeonholed, but kind of like typecast as the rubber-faced comedian guy, goofy guy. But this was during a time where he was that. He came out and was doing this and Man on the Moon and The Truman Show. But
I always want to scream The Truman Show at people
Yes.
that limit Jim Carrey's talent, like that just write him off as a comedian or he does comedy.
Watch
I'm like
the fucking Truman Show.
Such another brilliant.
And I love Ed Harris. Like, I love Ed Harris.
Yes.
But like, to know that he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor that year at the Oscars, and Jim Carrey, who was getting nominated for Best Actor everywhere else, the Oscars just said nope. Keep talking out your butt, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they really were not trying to give Jim Carrey his flowers.
I love that he got the final laugh that year. Do you remember when he went to the Oscars? I don't know why I remember these random things.
What
he
happened
presented that year.
Did he?
He was like, and he walks in and he's like, it's so great to be here. It's really just an honor to be nominated. And then he moved on. But I was like, good for you, buddy.
Oh my God.
Like, good for you for like embracing it and being like, yeah, all right, I'm still going to come to the Oscars. I'm not going to be like he was. I loved it. It made me just love him even more.
If there's any role that he should have been nominated for, it was that role.
Yes.
And that, because
100%.
he carries it, like you're
100%.
in it with him throughout the entirety of that movie.
That movie wouldn't have worked
it
without
would not have
him
worked with him.
playing.
When he's on the boat and he's singing, "There once was a sailor, what would we do with a drunken sailor?" I said, this man is flat out killing this role.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
literally like I'm in like fits when he's at the door and Ed Harris is like talking to him, trying to convince him to like stay. And he says, "In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night." It gives the bow, walks through the door.
Yeah.
Like it does something to me.
It does. Yeah.
It really
yeah.
does. Little quick side note, we'll get right back onto it. But I'm a big fan of Lil Dicky.
Oh my God, his
I
show
love
is
it.
so funny.
His show is
Dave,
great. He
I
has a
love-
great fucking show.
He's hilarious.
Right? It's
Yes.
amazing. But I've been like as someone, I find that me and Lil Dicky are living the same life.
Oh, why?
You
Do
know?
you think that? What makes you say that?
You know, obviously with the obvious difference of like skin color. But
But you're not a rapper, are
and
you?
I'm not a rapper. No, I'm not. However, like we both got our start in advertising. Working the same like position. We both were senior copywriters by the time like we quit our jobs to do what we eventually loved. And then his show, every season of his show matched with exactly where I was at in my life at that time.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So
okay.
his last season was all about him like finding love, which we've had this conversation in depth. And I'm just watching the show like, I wish I could find love like Lil Dicky, just like that. And so, but the thing that like really got me was like during the time I was like contemplating quitting my advertising job for 2 years, right? And he has this song on his album, which the cover of the album is literally his like resume that has like his advertising like resume on it, right?
love that.
And in the song, in one of his songs that I listened to constantly, and I listened to it a lot more when I was working, was called Truman. And it was a whole song that was a Truman Show metaphor.
Oh.
And he likened the metaphor
have to
to
look
like
this up.
living in this world of like, you know, the mundane and like, you know, the 9 to 5 and like everything is kind of laid out for him already. And he's fine with it. However, like he just feels that there's something more for him out there. Like he just has this gnawing feeling that something he's like he's being watched and that
Yeah.
he is the source of entertainment that he was destined to be.
Yeah.
And so he's contemplating quitting, and quitting is like getting to the door and like walking through, but there's a fear not knowing what's on the other side.
Why did I just get chills as
Yeah.
you're talking about a Lil Dicky
now
song?
It's a
I have to
little.
look- I know.
The song
have to
is
look this up.
so great. It's so
I
great.
can see why you were in advertising. I'm
I
like,
was-
yes.
you know,
okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's one of the most advertising things you could like really think of, and so like it's. Again, Truman Show being one of my favorite movies. As a movie guy, I feel like again he's like speaking directly to
Yes,
me,
totally.
and like I'm literally at my desk doing advertising things, listening to this song, prepping to quit, just like I'm Truman in this. I'm Truman. I'm Truman, and then I eventually did it, and it was like one of the best
Wow.
like feelings of like walking through that door. So
I think it's so cool that you bet on yourself and you took that risk and you
It was
followed your
scary.
passion. Like
it was scary.
hey, taking risks like that is, but like
Yeah.
kudos to you because that's
Thank
a
you.
brave step to take, and it obviously paid off. We
Yeah.
all knew it would, but like
Thank
you know,
you.
you've worked your butt off for years
Yeah.
and like fed into your passions and shared your passions with everybody, and I think it's so awesome to like be in your world now and see like all, you know, everything that like has come to you as a result of all of your, you know, your hard work over the years. It's really
This is
really
a moment
awesome.
right now. Like I'm having like a full ass moment because, you know, again, you know, I feel that my movie loving thing always starts with like DCOM and Disney movies and
Yeah.
things like that. And seeing
Yeah.
you in Halloweentown being like that came out in '98. I was 6. You know, being that 6-year-old kid, like watching that and just like being in love with it and like, you know, just falling in love with film that way. You know, this is a full circle moment of me and you like sitting here talking about
Yeah.
like our favorite movies, and it's like
Yeah, no, I
it's,
totally.
you know, this is what it's
totally.
about. This is what
Yeah.
it's about.
Like
right?
thinking about it, not genuinely, not to like sound corny or anything. When I like, as you're saying that, I'm like, when I think about a movie that changed my life, I do think about Halloweentown. Like,
I mean, you're wearing.
I
this
know, no,
shirt.
like I just, as I was thinking about it, I was like, because it was like my birthday and stuff, but also I was bullied a lot in high school, and that was something that all of me and my friends would always like watch and like,
Yeah.
so it's like when I think about the positive memories from growing up, I think about Halloweentown, and I think about Halloween, and I think
Yeah.
about like you and Debbie Reynolds and Benny and the pumpkin, and it's like
I love
it
that.
really, yeah. Thank you, thank you. But even just like you saying Halloween is cool, like that line, like
Yeah.
it made the weird things that I like be like, oh no, like she thinks they're cool, like
The
they're
validation
cool,
is real.
validation,
That's so
like it was
awesome.
like
Validation is real.
validating.
Yeah.
That was not the line that I had like thought would be the one, because people literally walk up to me on the street and they'll be like, "Say it." It took me a few years to realize what that meant. I'm like, "What?"
a trappa in
yeah,
a part.
trappa.
Trappa,
Yeah, there's
trappa,
another one.
Trappa,
Yes.
Trappa. I still say that to this day. So the amount of like things I pulled from that movie and that's like in me and like
Yeah.
I give
I love
back.
that.
Like you don't think about it at first, but then like, you know, sometimes like when you watch the movie, like you almost forget about it in a way, and then you hear it and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
That's where I
That's
got
where
that from,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
This is where I got that from.
Exactly.
So it's like, to be in this like moment where we're like in this room, like people who just like love film, love your films that you've been in,
Thank you.
and get to be able to talk about these things and geek about Jim Carrey and how he was robbed
Yes.
at the Oscars
100%.
and everything. Like
Yeah.
it's a surreal, like awesome like moment that like I feel cosmically like it was all like leading up to this.
Oh my gosh,
you know?
I'm turning
Like,
older on
you can
Thursday.
say it. You can
I'm
say
turning
it.
30 on
You can say
Thursday.
it. Yeah.
Happy birthday. That's so
Yeah.
cool. You're nerdy 30. I don't know what that
Yeah.
means, but I say it every time I turn 30.
I say 30, flirty, and thriving.
There you go.
Yes,
There you
there
go.
you go.
I love
There you
that.
go. See?
Yeah, no, so it really does feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, the universe gave me the best birthday present ever.
Oh, you're so
Getting to be
sweet.
in the
I
same
feel like this was meant to be because like I told you that like we were doing our thing, and then she was like, if I could just be there, like if I could just be there, and I was just kind of like, well, I am like doing this thing where like I have like a co-host like every episode, like I want to like make this more of a three-way conversation. So I said, how about you could just sit in the chair with us and like chat. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my god, and then you had to cancel unfortunately like because you had life things happening, and so like but we were able to move this closer to your birthday.
Yeah,
You know,
which is
Yeah.
so
so
wild.
It's crazy
Works
how
out,
like
everything
all
happens
these
for a
things like kind of
reason.
Truly.
work
Yeah,
out.
truly.
And also like I just want to offer my condolences to you. I know you just recently like had a loss in your family.
Yeah,
and I don't,
thank you.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I really feel for you and your family, and I hope like you got the R&R that you need and was able to grieve and process and things of that sort. So just know
Thank
that
you.
our hearts are here with you. We just love you so much. Like
Oh,
we've
thank
always
you.
loved you for decades now. I
You're
know
so
the
sweet.
parasocial relationship is real.
Yeah.
But now we have a real one, which
Exactly.
is great. This
Exactly.
is what it's like all about.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so before we get out of here, though, like I said that I wanted to talk about this, and we need to talk about this. Bringing down the house. Bringing down the house. I feel like this movie needs all the love. Look at my boy just like shaking his head right there. Listen, Bringing Down the House, like not only has you in the movie, which for me I was just kind of like, that's Marnie.
Oh,
like
that's
it's
so
like
sweet.
that's
Oh my
Marnie.
God,
Like,
that's the
this is-
the hugest compliment
You know?
considering all of the fantastic star power that's in
You
that
know,
movie. Oh my
you know what I'm
God.
saying? Like that, but for me, it was just like, oh my God, Marnie's like acting alongside Queen Latifah and Steve Martin. Like this
You're
is
so
this
cool
is,
to
like,
say that. Oh my
so
God.
right, right. So talk to me about like this movie. For those who don't know, Bringing Down the House was an amazing comedy. I want to say it was made in 2003.
I think so.
I
That
wanna
sounds
s-
about right.
Like 2003. A lot of you guys listening and watching weren't probably even born yet, or were just
Whoa.
babies when this happened.
That's crazy.
But it's a story about a man who is. This is honestly like Tinder before Tinder
Truly,
happened.
yeah, really.
Like
I
the
mean,
first
yeah.
catfish scene on screen.
Exactly,
I think.
yeah.
Like he's like chatting with this woman online, and they're really hitting it off. He's a single dad, and then come to find out that this woman is Queen Latifah, who's like escaped prison. Like she did
literally
she
escaped.
literally
Didn't
escaped
even get
prison.
released.
Didn't
She
get
boned
released.
out. Was like, bye.
Just shows
Yeah.
up at his house and
Yeah.
says, "Hey, baby, like it's me," and like hijinks and shit
Yeah,
ensue,
exactly.
and it's a hilarious movie. Has one of the best like random fight scenes in,
yes.
in a movie that nobody talks about.
Amazing.
You
Yeah.
know, that's one of my favorite. Like, for a skinny white hoe, you pretty tough. Like that movie has so much going for it. I love it. I watch it whenever I get a chance.
Oh, thank you.
Please talk to me like about this movie. What was it like when you got cast, working with Steve Martin and Queen Latifah? Just
Oh,
drop it
gosh.
on me.
I ran around the backyard a few times when I found out I got cast. Because I read a few times, where you watch the group of girls get, smaller and smaller, and you're like, oh, I'm getting I'm getting closer. Then it's like
Starts
two
to
or
pound a
three, and
little bit.
you meet the director and all of that. So I think my brain exploded a little bit when I found out I had gotten it, because there was so many amazing people. I've loved Steve Martin for years. And Queen Latifah. And I think after I got it, like, we kept finding out, like, just more and more amazing people. Like, oh, Jean Smart's going to play your mom. And Betty White's going to play your neighbor. And Joan Plowright and Eugene Levy. And just
Eugene
all these
Levy.
amazing,
Oh my God.
everyone was like, what? And so truly that set, like, the amount of stars on it just tipped the scales. But it could not have been a more fun, grounded,
Right.
like, you would never know walking onto that set that the star power was, because everybody was just there
Right.
to have a good time. And I was it made the whole experience even more amazing. But I was I don't know, like, I want to say grateful. I'm grateful for that experience, but I guess it endeared me to all of them even more, because they were such legitimately just cool, down to earth people, and we were all there doing our jobs, having a fun time, making each other laugh. But that's, I mean, even when I still see footage or pictures today, I still have to kind of pinch myself.
Yeah.
That it's like me in the picture with Steve Martin, like, you know, and Queen Latifah was like the sweetest, walked up the first day of our table read and just like who she is. Out there is just like that is just her, you know. She walks around, hey, I'm Dana, how are you, like just, you know, just like instantly your friend. And I was really excited to meet Betty White.
Yes.
True. I mean, like, grew up on the Golden Girls. I would, you know, make one of my brothers watch it with me all the time. And so I was so excited to get to meet her, probably more excited than somebody should have been. Because I had even...
It's Betty White. Come
exactly.
on, like, come on.
And I had, years prior, I had tested for a pilot that she was going to play the grandma in. And I think when I didn't book it, I think I was mostly disappointed, more so because I just wanted to meet Betty White. Right. But she could not have been more lovely and just so sweet. And I mean, it just truly a dream job. And to sit like at the premiere and watch that movie and genuinely laugh at it. Yeah. Like I enjoy it from an objective perspective as well, because I think everything came together so nicely on that movie. Everybody got, you know, along so well, and like the improv, everything just, you know, it gelled so well, and I think it comes across.
Do you genuinely like enjoy watching your movies? I know a lot of actors are like, oh, I can't even like watch myself in these movies, but this is what you actually
it's the first view is always just kind of like this, like, okay, all right, don't like that, you know. And other times you're like, oh, okay, great, you know. You just never know what take is going to be taken, how it's going to be cut, you know. And it's just sometimes you watch something and you're like, but I did a different take, you know, just random things nobody would ever know. And it's also hard. Bringing Down the House was fun, just focusing on all the other actors, but sometimes it is hard watching things and this isn't a bad thing, but you just have all the memories of filming it come back, which is a blast. Right. But yeah.
Oh my God. Like when I tell you, like, I get so much enjoyment out of watching that movie. It's just like unlike anything else, because it's just, I don't want to say like mile a minute like comedy, but every joke feels measured. It feels like, you know, they've definitely like thought about what they were doing. Just
Adam Shankman, man, he's brilliant director, and he let us have fun, but he knew how to, you know, he knows how to guide people to their actors to their strengths. Right. And, you know,
I mean, it was a movie that like in a lot of ways was about kind of white people first coming into contact with black culture, which like I feel like is a very underrated thing about the movie, right?
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Eugene Levy has cornrows at one point.
Yes,
you know?
There's a lot of those that, like, even watching it more recently, is seeing some clips and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, like it really rode that line completely.
Like there's a scene where like your younger brother in the movie is playing dominoes. And I was like he was also playing craps.
Yeah,
he was like, shooting craps. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, you know, it doesn't feel, you know how like you watch some things like, you know, from the early 2000s, you're just kind of like, oh, it doesn't hold up. Yeah. It holds up remarkably well.
It really does.
Like it really does. Like I was just about to say, like, there's not a problematic actor in that movie, but there's not a problematic joke in that movie, right? Like you would think it would be, but you know, I'm still like watching Steve Martin and be like, no, what I say, like it's like you can tell he's just out of his like element, out of his depth, and
he's so endearing within it. He's trying to do his best, you know, like it's just and that makes it all the much more like fun to watch.
My gosh, man! Like again, I could talk about like Bringing Down the House like all goddamn day, like real talk.
It's such a fun movie.
I learned how to do the worm during that movie. I vividly remember the first time I watched it. I was in my mom's friend's house in Rochester, New York, and my friend popped it in, and I was like, I'm gonna teach myself how to do the worm, and I did. YouTube wasn't a thing, so I was just like, I'm gonna figure it out. And I spent the entire movie watching it and being like, I got it, and by the end I got the worm. So
there you go. That's awesome.
Last thing I'm gonna say is that whenever I think of the song "Ain't Nobody,"
I still love that song.
I think of that movie.
I do.
Like that, it makes
that scene was so great.
It was a great scene.
Yeah.
And then you think about like the movie. It has that great like, you know, performance in the middle of the movie where you get that song, but then the movie ends with Queen Latifah sitting on a cornrows Eugene Levy's lap and calling him a freak.
Yeah, boy, you are some kind of freaky.
Yeah. Ain't nobody.
Yeah.
Like, This is what it's about. This is what it's about. I love it. But my gosh, I can literally talk to you all day about like your career, your favorite movies. Like this has been so much fun.
Oh,
Like,
this has been a blast. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Got to give a great birthday gift.
Yeah,
to Gabby,
happy
you know?
birthday.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I also want to say thank you so much for coming as well.
Yes, oh my gosh, of
'cause
course.
You're a busy
Yeah.
girl. You're a busy girl. Like you be out there. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we can all come together and make this happen is like incredible.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kimberly, so much for coming. This
Oh,
was
of course.
absolutely fantastic.
Thank you for having me. This has been a blast.
All right, and you know what, guys? That has it for this spooky, goofy episode of Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and also make sure you download it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. And we'll see you when we talk about the next movie.